foodie friends, what are we going to make today? I was thinking yesterday of making tacos because it is Tuesday, why not, right? And then I thought the husband's always wanting spaghetti. I have never tried this before, did a little bit of research, but before I saw how other people make taco spaghetti, I wanted to know what I want in my ingredients and how I do my tacos. So I found out that nobody that I could find so far does it like I do. So let's go. So I have my ground meat, but in this case for me, it's gonna be my ground chicken thighs that I've done myself here at home. Go back and look at that video. But that way I know there's no gristle and bone bits. I always get bone bits in store ground beef and chicken and turkey, so I just do it this way. But just go out and buy you some ground beef, enough for your family. I love using Barilla because it is very forgiving. I like to cook my noodles so they're soft enough, but never mushy. And this is very forgiving. Like I've sometimes cooked a little too long and it stayed the same. So I like that. Probably just gonna use maybe half the box. A little can of the ro-tel tomatoes. And in this case, I like the no salt added because you're gonna add enough of your own seasonings. That way you can add, but you can't take away. This is something I haven't seen in the other ones. People mention, oh, I should do that. But I love to put beans in my taco mix. So the Bush's pinto beans, I've tried several brands and I really like this the best. I didn't have a medium can of enchilada sauce, so I'm just gonna use a half a can of this, and I like to start with mild because I'm gonna add my own spice to it too. One big old onion because I'm gonna cook it down with the meat, and 1.5 bags of McCormick fajita seasoning. I know I'm gonna want 1.5 bags because it's gonna be a decent sized pot of food. And just like the beans, I have tried different brands of fajita seasoning, and the McCormick is by far the best. Usually I like to cheap out and go with store brand. It's up to you, but tell me which brand you like best when it comes to fajita seasoning. And I don't do taco seasoning. I don't really care as much about the flavor for taco seasoning. This fajita seasoning is so rich and deep in flavor. So just try it if you get a chance. Some onion powder. And you want to have some kind of greens in it, maybe, like you would put lettuce in it, but you really can't do it in a pot. So I've seen where a couple people put cilantro in it. I can't stand cilantro, I just don't like it. So for color, I'm gonna put a little bit of parsley flake in there. And as we move along, we taste test. I'm gonna add some cayenne pepper and taste as you go. And I usually like Breckstone sour cream, but I can't find it anywhere today, everybody's out. So I just got some regular old store brand sour cream. That's gonna go on at the end, that's the plan. And some Mexican cheese mix. You can use whatever you want, even American cheese. When I do my tacos, I have used sliced American cheese, just laid it right in the taco and then put all the hot stuff in, and hey, it works great. But the plan is, once I plate everything, these two will go on at the very end. And I don't know yet, but I know I'm probably gonna use at least 2 cups of water. Some of you want measurements and exact things, and if you know me, I don't normally do that. So I'm gonna open these. I'm going to rinse and drain the juice from the beans, but I'm gonna keep the juice from this here and cut up my onion, and I shall return. Okay, so hopefully you can see the pot really well, and I'll try to put the camera over the pot here in a little bit too. Get the meat going. I've learned over the years, instead of using a stirring spoon, it's much easier when you've got things you want to kind of flip around in the pot to just do 2 spatulas. You just chop it all up, break it all down. Actually, you can't see right now, but then I'm gonna stir it and mix it like that. Maybe one of these days, if I get to be a big YouTuber, I could have a camera hanging off the ceiling or something like most people do. I've already chopped up the onions, kind of break them up a little bit as I put them in there. And normally I do a sweet onion, but one day I was at the store and these big old yellow onions were on sale. They make your eyes burn a little bit more, but you dab them underwater as you cut them and they should be okay. So far I'm not crying from the onions. All right, so we got that in there. So it's already starting to sizzle. just going to cook the meat and the onions until the meat's done. Mostly done at least, because you are going to be boiling it with the spaghetti and the other ingredients. But the meat already gives it the oiliness that it needs because it's the chicken thighs, and if you use like an 80-20 beef or whatever, something that's not too lean, you won't have to use oil. I had seen where some people started off with oil and cooked down their onions and then put the meat in, but really this is just, you want to work smart and not hard. All right, so I'm going to cover this for a little bit and come back and check it. You don't want to go too far, just keep an eye on things. I'm going to go ahead and set my timer for about 10 minutes and come back and check on it. And one thing I have mentioned here and there is after you use your can opener, consider taking off this part and rinse it down with hot water. And even maybe go a step forward and spray some 91% rubbing alcohol on it, because it'll kill whatever's trying to live and grow in there. And I just let it sit to the side and dry. It's only been about 5-6 minutes, but since I hear it sizzling pretty good in there, I'm just going to give it a little check up here. Give it some flips so you can see it's kind of starting to look a little better now, like it's getting close. So you just want to keep an eye on it. It's all in how much you put in there. It has to do with maybe how long it's going to take to cook down before we put more ingredients in. I was thinking about today, it's kind of like doing hamburger helper, because I start hamburger helper out the same way. I used to never think to add onions and that kind of stuff, or beans. You know, I've done that with the chili mac. And this is kind of the same way I start that. Let's let it cook a little bit more and check it. My canned ingredients are about ready to go. The enchilada sauce, what you want to do is kind of stir it up, because some of the goodness is down at the bottom. And I want it to have a good even mix when I put half of this can in. Got my ro-tel ready to go. Gonna keep the juices in that. I figured the juice would be all the way to the top, but I forgot it's not all the way, but the juices have good flavor in it. And when it comes to these beans, I like to just rinse out all the goop with warm water. I just put my fingers in there and then kind of pour it out, or you can put it in a colander and drain it that way. All right, we're getting closer. The meat appears to be cooked through. I want the onions to be a little bit softer though. Let me show you. I want them to be a little bit softer before I actually get to boiling everything together. I don't want them to be at all crunchy. So I'm just going to wait a little bit more. See, until they cut through a little bit easier. Then I'm going to add everything else. And have you noticed that I haven't added any seasonings at all? I've learned over time to wait, add my seasonings later on, and then you can taste as you go. You can always add, but you can't take away. All right. Let me show you what it looks like before I pour in my wet ingredients. Some of the onions are just starting to brown a little bit. That makes them even tastier. I'm going to keep the fire up until we get to a boil after I put everything in. So I'm going to go ahead and put in half a can of the enchilada sauce. Just roughly. You can always add. It's about half right there. Put in my ro-tel tomatoes. The whole thing with the juice. And my Bush's pinto beans that have been cleaned and drained. Let's just give that a little mixy for now. And if you recall from past videos of mine, I have learned not to sprinkle any seasonings out of the actual container over a hot pot of anything, because all that steam gets up in there and pretty much makes a mess of what's left behind in the can. So I noticed one of these tomatoes has the pit, the top, what do you call it? Let's see, can you see it? And so if you see that, just pick it out. Nobody wants to eat that. So as you stir, you just kind of see what's going on in there. You can kind of see now how it's looking. So that's all there. So what I did was I combined the seasonings that you saw. Now I don't have measurements. This is on the top here was the fajita seasoning. And then you're going to see there's the onion powder and some cayenne pepper. And not too much cayenne pepper, and you don't have to do any of it at all, but I'm going to taste it and see how it is because I want to get a little bit of that heat, but nothing too strong. And if you like super spicy, go for it. And I'm going to do something that you probably will go crazy about, at least you true Italians, is I'm going to break this spaghetti in half. My mom did it, I do it, a lot of people online do it, and some people don't do it. But let's do that. It's just easier to manage when you're actually eating it. So here we go. If you don't like it being broken in half, turn away, don't look. And there you go, just sort of sprinkle her in like that. So we got that on the top there. We're starting out with 2 cups of water, and in my case I do filtered water just because we're going to actually be eating all this, not just boiling something with it. But use your tap water or whatever water. I just do filtered water. You want to make sure that the spaghetti is covered, and that's where you determine if you're going to need more water or not. But the nice thing is the spaghetti is going to soak in all this flavor just like any noodle, just like Hamburger Helper. That's why they have you make it kind of like this. And that's when it hit me. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like Hamburger Helper. Okay, so it is covered because we don't want it to be soupy. We want it to be like a taco. So here's what it looks like. You can hear it boiling away in there. So I'm going to let it get to a boil. Then I'm going to turn it down to a medium simmer and probably let it cook about 15 minutes and then check it. I almost forgot the parsley. So let's go and throw that in too. Give that a little stir because it's dry parsley, so I want it to get a chance to moisten up in there. It's just going to give it a little bit of pretty color. It looks pretty in there already. I don't know if you can see that or not. But yeah, let's cover it back up, wait for that boil. Okay, so it's to a boil and I just turned it to kind of like a medium low. I don't want it to just simmer on low. I want it to kind of boil up. So can you see that there? I had to get a new microwave and the light is way in the back of the oven versus right over the food. So it's not as bright as I would like it to be here, even though I have all my other lights going. And I was able to turn one light up a little bit more. So let's see if that helps. So I'm going to mix it around. Man, that's looking really, really good. I imagine you could do it with macaroni noodles or whatever. Just make it your own. That's what I did. Let's take a closer look. Oh yeah, you can see a lot better there. Just make sure your spaghetti is under the water level there. All right, let's cover it and check back in a few minutes. So while it's boiling away here on low, simmering to almost a boil, I'm going to go ahead and taste test it now because now, even at the end, you can start adding more seasonings if you need. And I always hope that it's under seasoned at first. Or just right is always nice. That's what it looks like so far. It's blazing hot. Let me make sure I don't burn myself half to death. Let's see. Wow, the spice level is definitely there. Thanks to both the cayenne pepper and the fajita seasoning. Ooh, but I think I definitely put plenty of cayenne pepper in there, which is going to give it a nice kick. So that the noodles still have a ways to go. Mixed it up a little bit more just to give it one more taste test. Just the sauce. I want to make sure it's just right. Yeah, the spice and the salt level, I think everything is just right. I'm not going to have to do anything more to it. And when I put the cheese and sour cream at the end, which again, I don't think I've seen anybody put sour cream on it, that kind of cools down the spiciness and makes it a really nice combination. So let's cover it back up and check in a little bit. I got the timer set for 5 minutes at a time until the noodles are done. Okay, it should be about done by now. What I'm going to do is let some of the liquid cook off a little bit while the pot is open. Because again, we don't want it to be like a soup. So I'm going to let the liquid cook down, and then I'm ready to try it, and the husband's almost home, and he's going to give it a try for you guys too. Stay tuned. So you saw how simple and easy it was to put this together. And now I'm going to give it a quick taste test before the husband gets here and then see what he thinks. I think it's going to be interesting. It's always fun to try something different. So as you can see, it's starting to kind of thicken up. It looks like it's going to be just right. And we know it's going to taste good because we taste tested it on the way. And when I open up a brand new thing of sour cream, I like to kind of mix it up a little bit. It was all, flat at the top. It looks so weird. It's hard to see with the light, but just give it a nice stir and make it look nice and creamy. Let's serve it up. Okay, so the moment of truth. I'm going to try it without the sour cream. A little bit of cheese will be mixed in. You got your spoon ready in case you want to eat it like a true Italian, which I am not. I'm mostly Swedish, so I'm told. That's really good. You can really taste the fajita seasoning. I'm going to get some bean and onion in there. That is really good. Now I'm going to mix the sour cream in a little bit. Because tacos, in my opinion, just have to have sour cream. Give it a little twirl. My husband loves anything with noodles. We try to cut back because of the carbs, but we don't cut out. So I'm thinking he's going to like it. That is very good. It's a little strange for me having it as a spaghetti meal, but it's kind of like that chili mac hamburger helper. You add your own stuff to it, do your own things to it, throw some onions in there, just make it your own. This is quite good. So I think the husband's going to like it. When he gets home, we'll have him taste test it, and then off camera, we'll sit down and chow down. And if you haven't tried chicken burger before, even if you don't want to grind it yourself, most people don't do that, go out and try it. I would suggest trying it with the dark meat. Sometimes there's a blend, same with turkey. And it is so tender and so light. And we've noticed in the past that it's easier on your stomach than like beef burger. But we like beef too, we like it all. Can't you tell? So the husband just got home. So I'm gonna serve him up a sample and see how he likes it. All right, so it's all nice and melty. Look at the steam coming off of that. How was your day, honey?
It was great.
Yay. All right, so there's that. Go ahead and give it a try, just as is.
I feel like a dog. You just set the plate down and I'm supposed to eat my dinner. Smells wonderful.
As soon as you came in the house, you said what? It smells like tacos.
Like tacos. So let's see what we got here.
I didn't want him to know what I was making. It's kind of hard to get all the parts in there, but I got beans and tomatoes.
Let me try a scoop here. It's a little tangy already. I can feel it's got a little bit of a bite to it, a little spicy.
That would be the cayenne pepper.
Yeah, and the chicken is outstanding with it.
All right, let's try just a little bit, not too much. Kind of mix it all in there. And we have to have sour cream with our tacos.
A little mixy. Taco Tuesday spaghetti. Yeah, that's really good. It's delicious.
Can you tell what else is in there?
Not without my glasses on, but
it's cut onions.
It's got beans, onions, tomato, spaghetti noodles, chicken, but it's outstanding.
Is it husband approved?
It is husband approved.
So if you like these types of videos, it would be a huge honor to have you subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.